Okay guys, so welcome to today's video. In this video we're going to be looking at basic Pentesting 1 vulnerable machine downloaded from vulnhub.com. This is a small boot to root virtual machine and it's got multiple remote vulnerabilities and multiple privilege escalation vectors. Our goal is to remotely attack the VM and gain root privileges on the machine. So let's jump right into it. This is my Kali Linux environment here, and this is the machine that we're going to be attacking. So let's just switch back here and open up a terminal in Kali. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is discover the IP address of the target machine. So to find that out, we can type in this command, do netdiscover -i eth1, which is my interface card, -r for range, put the IP address in here and /24. And then that will now scan for machines on my network. So here it is, this is the target address of the machine that we're going to be attacking. Just Control C to come out of this now. I'll just go into a folder here where we can save all our output. Okay, and now we can run an mmap scan on the target machine. So mmap, we want to run the default scripts, default versions, we're going to disable ping, extra verbose, specify the IP, and I'm going to output this to a text file and also to a XML file. Okay, so we've got a few open ports on the machine here. We've got port 21, port 22 and port 80. You can see from the results here, port 21 is running ProFTPD 1.3.3c, port 22 OpenSSH, and port 80 running Apache here. So the one I'm going to look at first is the port 21 FTP. So if we do a quick search exploit ProFTPD, and straight away we can see there's an exploit here for this version of ProFTPD. Source backdoor remote code execution. So I'm just going to load up the Metasploit console. And just wait for this to load now. Okay, so we're now at the Metasploit console and we're just going to search for ProFTPD. And we can see a couple of modules here. The one I'm going to be using is this one here, rated excellent. It's the backdoor command execution. So just got to copy this. And then we're going to set that. So use, look at the options for this. So we need to specify the R host, which is the address of our target machine. So that's 192.168.56.103. We'll look at the payloads for this. And I'm going to use a double reverse TCP Unix shell for this. So we'll set the payload and then just take a look at the options again. And we now need to specify the port that we're going to listen on, which is the IP address of our Kali machine. You can get this from ifconfig. And then just type in exploit to run that. It will send the commands to the target machine. Okay, there we go. So we've got a shell session open, and if we type in who am I, we can see that we are the root user already. And if we look at the ID here, we can also see there we are root on that machine now. So to drop into a bit more of an interactive shell, we can run this command here. We can use Python to spawn a bash shell. And here we are, we've got a root shell opened here, and what we can do now is look at the cat, the shadow file. And this now on screen is the contents of the shadow file on the target machine. So what I'm going to do is basically take this user here, Marlin Spike. I'm just going to copy this. And then I'm going to open up a new terminal. And just going to do nano users.txt to create a user file. Put that hash into there. Save it out. And then we're going to use John the Ripper to crack that hash. Okay, so I've already done this before. It's loaded one password hash there. So I can just simply run the command John -- show users.txt, and there we go. We can see one password hash cracked, and the user name is Marlin Spike and the password is Marlin Spike. Okay, so let's take a look at the web browser now. Port 80 vulnerabilities. We're opening up our Firefox browser here. And we're just going to go straight to the IP address of the target machine. Let's get rid of that, 192.168.56.103. So here we are, this is the default web page for the server. We'll look at the page source, see if there's anything in there. Nope, nothing in there. Let's just check for robots.txt. Nothing there either, okay. So let's go over to our console here and let's run Directory Buster on this. So dib http 192.168.56.103 port 80, and let's set our word list here. User share word lists derb. I'll use the common.txt here, and we're going to output it to derb.txt and then get that running. Okay, so straight away here we can see it's found a directory /secret. So let's take a look at that in the browser. And we can see here that it's a WordPress blog. It's not rendered correctly, but we'll come on to that in a minute. So while that is running the derb, we can have a look at a WP scan, which scans WordPress websites for vulnerabilities. Put the URL in. We will also enumerate some users on there and output it to a log file. bp1 wp scan text, and we'll let that run. Let's go back to our derb scan here. Okay, that's finished now. So we can see various directories here. Everything's in the WP content directory for the WordPress blog looking at this. And this is the output of our WP scan. We can see here, this is a list of vulnerabilities that it's found, 10 vulnerabilities. And then just scroll down here. We've got the default theme that's in use. And here we've got the default username is admin. It's still being used in this portal. So let's just go back over here and go to the login page. Okay, so it's come up with server not found because it can't find the server at VTC_sec. If you look in the address here at the top, it's trying to resolve to VTC_sec. So what we're going to need to do here is we're going to need to add an entry into our hosts file. And we do this like so, just basically add the IP address of the target machine, add the domain, which is VTC_sec, and we'll save that out. And then if we go back here now, refresh the page, you can see we've got a properly rendered login screen. And if we now go to vtcsec/secret, we can see a properly rendered WordPress blog now. So what can we do with this admin page? Well, we could try and guess the password, but we'll have a look at WP scan to see how we can brute force this. And to brute force the password, we're going to run the following. It's going to be http vtcsec/secret, and we want the address of our login page, which as you can see here is wp-login.php. We know the username is admin, and we need to set a word list. So the one I'm going to use is from Metasploit here. And let me just double check which one this is. Okay, so we'll use the default password list here. Let's just tag that on. Okay, we also need to specify the WP content directory. And as we can see from the output scan from earlier, it is vtcsec/secret/wp-content. And just to show you on there it is there in that address. That's where we get that from. And we just need to specify now the number of threads to run this. Okay, so we let that run. That should now brute force the admin password. And there we go, the username is admin and the password is admin. So let's go back to the web browser now, just try them credentials. And like so, we're now logged on as admin. Okay, so I'm just going to now go back to the Metasploit console here. I'll just minimize that. And let's just drop this session. Okay, and now we're just going to search for WordPress and see what exploits we can find in Metasploit for WordPress. Okay, so we've got plenty here that have come up. And the one I'm going to use today is this one, WP admin shell upload. So let's set that as our exploit here. You can see there it's changed to the admin shell upload from the ProFTP backdoor we used earlier. So take a look at the options. There's a few mandatory fields here. We've got password, our host, our port, target URI and username. So we'll set the password to admin. We'll set the host to the IP of our machine. Actually no, we won't do that. We will set that to vtcsec instead. Not in capitals though. We'll also set the target URI, which is the base path to the WordPress application, which is a secret folder. We've got our username of admin, and then we'll look at the payloads. So that's everything filled in there. Let's view the payloads now. And we're going to use a reverse TCP. Let's set that payload. And we'll take a final look at the options here. And we just need to specify the lhost option here, which is the IP address of our Kali machine. And once we've got that, we can just run exploit. Okay, so we've got a session that's opening here. Once that completes, we're at the Meterpreter shell, and if we have a look at sysinfo, we can see we're on the computer VTC sec. We can look at GetUID, we're logged on as the user www-data. And here we go, just to confirm that. Okay, so we're not root, we're going to need to do some privilege escalation here to get root access. One of the ways we can do this is with a script that's built into Kali. So let's have a look here. I'm just going to switch to the user/bin directory. And the script that we're going to look at is this unix-privesc check. Shall we just nano that so we can drop into that? Okay, so this is the script itself, a bit of background on what it's used for. You can see here it's an auditing tool to check for weak file permissions and other problems that can be used to escalate privileges. If we scroll down a bit here, we can see the usage of the script is unix-privesc-check, and we need to specify whether it's a standard or detailed check. So I'm just going to be using the standard prompt. I'll just go back to our Meterpreter shell here, and to get a bit more of an interactive shell again, I'm going to run that Python command from earlier. pty spawn /bin/bash. Okay, so now you can see with the user www-data at VTC sec. I'm just going to change to the temp directory here. And let's have a look at the contents of that temp directory. Okay, and what we can do now is upload that unix-privesc check script. So from our terminal where we're in the user bin folder, I'm just going to run python-m simple HTTP server, and I'm going to run that on port 80, and then we'll switch back to our Metasploit console. And what we can now do is just get that script off our Kali machine, and this will load it onto the target machine for us. Okay, so that's saved there. Let's just take a look at the contents again. Okay, so here's our script here, and as you can see there's no executable permissions on that at the minute, so we're going to need to chmod that, +X for executable, name of the script, and then once we've set the executable permissions on that, we can just run that script. So to do that, we're going to run ./unix-privesc-check standard, and we're going to put the output into output.txt. I'll just let that run through till we get our shell back. Okay, so we've got that back now, so we know that it's run to completion. If we just cancel out of our Python server here, and then from our Metasploit terminal here, we'll just have a look. We can see the output text file there that it's generated. So let's download that to our Kali machine now, to our Kali folder. Terminate this channel first. Okay, we're just going to download that. So download output.txt, Actually, on second thoughts, download /temp output.txt just to be on the safe side. And we're going to download that to our BP1 demo folder at the following address. Okay, that looks good. So that's now downloaded. If we switch back to this other terminal here, lists the contents of our BP1 demo directory, we can see the output text file has been downloaded. It's quite a big file. One of the things I never mentioned earlier is that when you run this Unix privs check, you actually need to grep the final output for warning. So we do this as follows, and it's warning in capitals as well. And we can see here one warning: etc password is a critical config file, and it's set to world write, which means anyone can write to that password file. So what we can do is download that password file to our Kali machine, edit it, and then re-upload it. So let's do that now. So first of all, we need to download it. Oh, that's good. And then we can have a look at it here. Yep, there it is, downloaded password. So we'll just nano into that. And where this X is next to root, we can now basically change that to whatever password we want to use on the box. So I'm just going to open up another terminal. And the command we need to do that is open SSL password -1, and then it'll prompt us to put whatever password we want in there. So I'm just going to put the password of root, confirm that password, and there we've got the hash of that password here. So this is what we're going to be copying into that password file. Just copy that, switch back to our password file here, delete the X, and just paste that in. Once we've got that in there, we can save that file. Just come out of that now. And now we've got that edited password file, we just need to upload that to our target machine. So we do that back at our interpreter shell. We've upload root of vulnhub /bp1 demo /password, and we're just going to upload that to the etc folder. Like so. Okay, so that's now uploaded. Just to prove that that is the edited file, we can cat that file. So if we have a look at cat /etc/password from our shell, scroll up a bit here, we can see that it's now got that hash that we've just edited and re-uploaded. Okay, so that's looking all good now. So let's just drop into a more interactive shell using the usual Python command. And then once we're at our interactive shell, we can then change to the user root with a bit of luck. So /bin/bash. Okay, so here we are as www data. If we just do an su root -l, so I'm just going to put root in there, and we are now logged in as root. Do who am I? You can see we're root, and if we do an ID as well, we should also be able to see that we're logged on as root. And there we go. So that's it. Simple as, really. Okay, if you've liked this video, please do like, comment and subscribe. Any questions, I will try and answer them in the comments. Thank you for watching, and more videos coming soon. Goodbye.